What if the woman you're chasing isn't real? Not in the literal sense. She exists, of course. You see her, you touch her, you want her. But the truth is, you're not really chasing her. You're chasing a missing part of yourself. Carl Jung warned us long ago, many men confuse desire for connection with the desperate search for psychic wholeness. Not because they're weak, not because they're shallow, but because they've never been taught the full map of the soul. So what looks like love is often projection. Let's go deeper. In Jungian psychology, there is a concept called the anima, the inner feminine part of a man's psyche. The anima is not just emotion, softness, or intuition. She is mystery, depth, beauty, sensitivity, chaos. All the things a man may repress to survive in a world that rewards logic and control. Now here's the twist. When a man doesn't recognize or integrate his anima, she doesn't just disappear. She gets projected onto a woman. That sudden obsession, that overwhelming romantic feeling.
That overwhelming romantic feeling, that soul-rushing, heart-breaking hunger for her. It's not just her lips or her scent. It's the idea that she will make you whole again. But here's the danger. When you project your anima onto a woman, you are no longer seeing her as she is. You're seeing her as you need her to be. And that's not love. That's dependency. Jung said that the greatest danger of projection is the illusion it creates of understanding. You think you know her, you think you love her, but often you're in love with your own inner emptiness, dressed up in her smile. And so the fantasy begins. She'll save me. She completes me. She understands me like no one else. But here's the brutal truth. No one can complete you, because no one else can carry the part of your soul you've abandoned. You can fall in love 100 times. You can chase pleasure, romance, validation, and you'll still wake up with the same ache inside. Because you're not missing her. You're missing you. The parts of you you've rejected. The softness, the vulnerability, the mystery, they don't vanish. They wait. Buried in the unconscious, in the shadow, in the silence between relationships. And every time you meet someone new, someone intoxicating, someone who feels different, your soul tries once again to reach itself through another. But it never works. Why? Because projection cannot build intimacy. It builds illusion. And illusions eventually collapse. That's why so many modern relationships burn bright and die fast. Because they weren't built on truth. They were built on fantasy. He didn't love her. He loved who he became in her presence. She didn't love him. She loved the escape he offered from her own emptiness. We enter relationships with the hope that someone else will fix the broken mirror we carry inside. But Jung teaches us, no one can rescue you from your unconscious.
The woman you think will save you can only reflect what you have the courage to reclaim.
So if you constantly feel abandoned in love, constantly disappointed or addicted to the high of the chase,
You must ask a harder question. What part of me have I disowned that I now expect her to carry for me? Is it my sense of wonder? Is it my tenderness? Is it my belief in the divine? Whatever it is, until you reclaim it, you will always feel empty after pleasure. The sex won't help. The attention won't last. The compliments, the messages, the validation, they're all just sugar for a starving soul. You don't need another person to awaken you. You need the courage to meet yourself, fully, painfully, deeply, without the mask. That's where true integration begins, not in another's arms, but in your own soul. Jung called this process individuation, the journey of becoming whole by integrating the parts of ourselves we've exiled. It's not about becoming perfect. It's not about becoming desirable. It's about becoming real. To truly love another person, you must first love the parts of yourself you were taught to fear. the insecurity, the fragility, the longing, even the darkness. Not because they're beautiful, but because they're you. And when you reclaim those parts, something shifts. Suddenly, love stops being a drug. It becomes a mirror not of fantasy but of truth. You no longer fall for women who reflect your wounds. You're drawn to those who recognize your wholeness, because you've finally recognized it yourself. This is the real work, not chasing, not pleasing, not performing, but asking, who am I when no one is watching? What part of me still believes I am not enough? Where do I feel hollow? And why have I tried to fill that space with someone else's body? Because every time you run toward another to escape that emptiness, you abandon the only person who can truly heal it, yourself.
Desire isn't the enemy. Desire is a guide. It shows you where your soul is still hungry, where your anima is still unloved, where you confuse her beauty with your own forgotten light. And when you finally stop projecting, when you stop expecting her to mother you, save you, worship you, you start seeing her as she is, not a fantasy, not a savior, but a fellow soul, walking her own path, holding her own wounds, facing her own shadow. And in that moment, love becomes sacred, not because it completes you, but because you are already complete. This is what Jung meant when he said, the meeting of two personalities is like the contact of two chemical substances. If there is any reaction, both are transformed. Real love transforms, but only when it's grounded in truth, not illusion. So the next time you feel that obsessive pull, that magnetic urge to pursue, to impress, to possess, pause. Ask yourself, is this about her? And engaging. Or is this about a part of me I haven't learned to live with yet? Because here's the truth most men never hear. You are not supposed to find yourself in another person. You are supposed to find yourself through the pain of being alone long enough to remember who you really are. That emptiness you feel after pleasure, it's not a failure, it's a message. It's your unconscious saying, there's more. Go inward. You were not born to chase wholeness in others. You were born to return to the parts of yourself you've left behind. The ache, the longing, the emotional craving, all of it is sacred, not because it leads you to her, but because it leads you back to yourself. And when you finally stop trying to be completed, you become free. Free to love without clinging, free to give without losing yourself, free to walk away when the illusion fades, and stand tall in your own soul. This is what it means to be a man in Jungian terms, not just powerful, not just disciplined, Clearer, but integrated. So stop waiting for her to heal your wound. Stop believing that pleasure will replace your purpose. And stop expecting a woman to carry the weight of your unlived life. The love you're searching for is already inside you. You just have to stop running from the silence long enough to hear it. And when you do, you'll realize she was never the missing piece. You were.